So I'm going to show you a little bit about the Jo. The Jo is a staff we use in Aikido. The diameter of the Jo is, 3/4 of an inch or so. You'll see it's not too big, not a super big thing. It's about the height of your armpit, approximately. Some people like them a little longer, some people like them a little shorter. And it's usually made out of oak or some other solid wood. And we use this, it's certainly a weapon. It's a very powerful weapon, one you can carry around like a walking stick and nobody will think you're carrying a weapon. And it's also a training tool for mind. So I'm going to show you a variety of strikes that we use in Aikido and how we use them to help train the mind. In addition to that, they are also powerful. It's a powerful martial tool and can be used like that. The first strike I'm going to show you is called ski. It's a straight-in strike, just like a ski punch. To do the ski, you have the Jo held one hand in front, one hand in back. Make sure that you have your pinky finger, this ridge just below your pinky, right connected beneath the Jo. So when you do connect with something, there's something solid to go against. You don't want to have your hand slipping along the Jo. So always have the hand at the back of the Jo. I'll alternate between having my right hand at the back and my left hand at the back, but always this little ridge right there goes at the bottom of the Jo. So the ski strike is a lot like a pool shot. This is not something where you're viciously trying to stab somebody. This is much more about control. The power of this strike comes with the fact that your mind becomes focused at the tip of the Jo. And you demonstrate the effectiveness of your strike by the smoothness of it. So one of the things I watch for when I do my Jo strikes is to make sure that the end of that Jo stays smooth. So I'm treating this like a pool shot. Slides through my hands. I'll do it either way. I can do pool shot either way, so it's nice and smooth. And one of the tools I have for training this is at my house, I have a hedge outside my house, and I strike at these little branches, and I try and aim at these little branches. My goal is making sure that the tip of the Jo goes steady, so I'm focusing my mind right there on the thing that I'm striking for, and I'm going to do a ski, and I'm aiming for that. I'm not trying to bust down anything. I'm just trying to make contact. Solid, centered contact is enough. That's enough. So I'm going to practice a little ski. I'm going to switch my hands by raising my hand up the Jo, switching to the other side. Now my other hand is in the back of the Jo. Step in, like ski. Step back, hand up Jo. Back upon me, step in. When I make a connection with this, I don't want to be 1.5 feet, 2 feet beyond it. All I want is this little tip of the Jo to make contact. I'm actually trying to make contact just beyond this, just beyond the surface. So if I strike somebody or something, I need to do that. I'll be just a little bit inside. Just like a good punch, it's just a little bit inside the surface. You're focused inside the surface. So again, hand held loosely in the front, other hand in the back. Right, hand out, switch. So nice, smooth, pool shot strikes. Ski. Second strike I'm going to show you is a shoman strike. A shoman strike is a lot like a shoman hand strike. With a Jo, again, we make sure that we have finger at the bottom of the Jo, that little ridge beneath the pinky at the bottom of the Jo so it doesn't slip through. The other hand goes about a hand's width up, maybe 2 hands widths up, not too far up the Jo for this particular strike, about that far. When you strike when you hold a Jo like this, you always make sure that the Jo is extended in front of you. Don't let it collapse against you. So not like this, but out like this, not stretched out, just at a comfortable extended distance. Also, the tip of the Jo should point up. I'm pointing about at an uke's throat or his head, somewhere up there for this particular strike. So I'm keeping it right up here. If I let the tip of my Jo drop, somebody can take their Jo or their hand and just trap my Jo to the ground, bring it down. They're able to block me out, and I've left my front vulnerable. So I keep this up and in front of me. It keeps me protected. When I do a shomen strike, I do it from center. This is not an arm strike. It looks like I'm raising my arms and whacking down. I'm not. I'm going to step in. The motion of my center is what brings the jo up. So my center slightly up. The descending motion of my center is what brings the jo down. So this is all motion from center. So to practice shomen strikes, I'm going to raise my center and come down with my center. Coming in with the other foot, raise my center, come down with my center. You'll notice my center goes up and down a little bit. The better and better you get, the smaller that motion is, but it always comes from center, not from arms. So the drive is from center. So I'm going to pick a target now for my shomen. I'm going to pick that little knuckle in the bamboo as my target. I'm going to try and come as close as I can to that target without touching it. That's my goal right there. My goal with this instrument, it's a weapon, and it's also an instrument of mind, so I'm training my mind. So I step in, and I bring down the jo, and I should bring it as close as possible. Up with center, down, up, down. Notice that this is rising and falling with my center. The more steady my mind is, the more steady the tip of the jo is. As it wanders, I can feel that my mind is not as steady as I want. So again, up, down. That's a shomen strike with the jo. The third strike that I want to show you is a yokomen strike. Again, you're going to hold the jo with your pinky at the bottom, other hand about a hand width apart, up the jo. And a yokomen strike is just like a yokomen side diagonal strike in a hand strike. Comes around like this. So we have to do something a little bit different with our hands in this case. Since I'm kind of make a cone above my head instead of the shomen, which is straight down. If I'm going to strike to this side, I have to first come around to get my angle. So there's this motion like that. So notice how the tip of the jo goes around in a circle above my head. To go the other way, I'd go around the other way. Rotates like that. And I can make the circle small, or I can make it big depending on the angle that I'm trying to get. So that's still a yokomen strike. So notice that this hand, the upper hand, acts as a pivot. In fact, in the strike itself, there's a pivot. This is a lever. When I strike, I pull with this hand, and that creates a levering action. So I get this fairly long lever. So there's that strike. That's to my right. I'm going to take and step in with the other foot and strike the other way. Notice how this rotates around. Notice how I keep the extension. And again, to practice it, I use something like this. I pick a point on here as my target. I'm going to pick that knuckle again. And I'm going to again try to come as close as possible to it without striking it. Notice that the power of this yokomen strike again comes from the movement of center. Shomen strike comes from this up and down motion of the center. In the yokomen strike, the power comes from the pivot of the center, this pivot of the hips. It's kind of like when a baseball pitcher pitches, their power comes from this twisting of the torso and the hips. So the yokomen's like that. So if I come in, notice my hips rotate around the other way. They rotate around. The power of the strike is coming from center, not from arms. So here's a few yokomen strikes. Right, left, right, left. Again, I'm trying to get close. I'm fully extended. I'm keeping my mind still at the tip of the jo. So right strike, left strike, right strike. It's a yokomen strike. O-sensei got a lot of his information, his ability to do Aikido from sword work, and his great realization was that sword is mind, and we can use the Jo the same way. We can use it as a tool to hone our minds. So all of these strikes, just practicing them with the idea that you're honing your mind. It's a very powerful weapon also, but our mind is also probably the most powerful weapon. And Bo Sensei would say our mind is a weapon for peace. We can use this to sharpen things for ourselves.